So, David, the first question I'm just going to ask you right off the bat, is the Earth flat? That's the first thing I'm going to ask you.
Jesse Lee Peterson asked me that question 50 times in a row, and I wouldn't answer it because what is the definition of flat? Is your floor flat? The floor in your room right now?
I mean, technically speaking, it is very flat. Yeah.
If you looked at it with a microscope, would it look flat? It would look like
Probably,
the Alps.
Yes.
It would look like the Alps. It has rough surfaces and stuff. So the Earth, as described by many CIA and released government documents, is a level, non-rotating plane. All aircraft, treat the world as a level, non-rotating plane, which doesn't sound like a spinning, wobbling, rocky ball in space.
Okay, so I'm just kind of taking it all in because this is. I'll be honest. I'm not huge into space and science and stuff like that, but it's really, really cool to hear all these different perspectives on it.
Sure.
Did you always believe this case? Like, did you always believe that Earth was flat? Did you think otherwise? How did that kind of start for you?
So we're all indoctrinated to believe in the globe, from day one in school, even before school. Sesame Street has astronauts and everything is globe programming. So the question you're going to ask, and we should save it for the end, is why would they lie? What difference does it make? I still have to go to work on Monday. We've all been programmed to say that. And so, no, of course I was a glober. I was actually doing a conspiracy podcast looking into lots of different deception in the world. And people started sending me flat Earth stuff. Dave, have you looked into flat Earth? And first I thought that's the dumbest thing ever. They're like, watch this video. I'm like, I'm not watching your stupid video. Just watch this 2-minute video. Just 2 minutes. I'm like, not watching it. It's not worth it. Flat Earth is too dumb. Right? Because when you Google flat Earth, you get a disk floating in space, a flat Earth floating in heliocentric space. That's two false models, right? So the question is, the people that think flat Earth is stupid have no idea what flat Earth is, and they also don't know what their own model is, right? Now I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, and let's see if you did better than I did, because I got them all wrong. So if you get one right, you did better than I did. Okay, what is the radius of the Earth?
Jesus!
What is the circumference of the Earth? What is the distance from the Earth to the sun? How did they figure that out?
Good Lord!
Yeah,
are we allowed to call chat GBT?
No, you can't.
I can't.
What is the orbital speed of the Earth? What is the rotational speed? Right, these are things that you've never. They taught them for 1 minute in class, maybe, if they taught it all. Because if you actually think about it, it's absolutely ridiculous, right? You know what a light year is, right?
Light year, yeah.
Yeah, conceive of light year. Light goes, they say 1,186,000 miles a second. That times a year's worth of seconds. That's pretty damn far, right?
Mm.
They tell us that the closest star to our solar system is 25 light years away. Okay? So your mind, not yours, all of us, are unable to conceive of that. Now, that's the closest neighbor that we have, right? Supposedly, allegedly, right? So let's put that into let's think about that for a second. If you and I got in a rocket ship, we're traveling faster than anyone else has ever gone, a mile per second, and we traveled for 1 trillion seconds. Oh, by the way, 25 light years is it's 4.5 light years, which equals 25 trillion miles. So if you and I got in a rocket ship that was going for a mile per second for 1 trillion seconds, we've gone 1 trillion miles, right? Mile per second times 1 trillion seconds is 1 trillion miles. Do you know how long 1 trillion seconds is?
That would be. I'm trying to think here. This is where I get thrown on the spot, and people are like, "Did he pay attention in school?"
No one's ever gotten this right. So just take a stab. What do you think?
Okay.
If you guess it within 2 days, I'll give you a Bitcoin.
Okay. Can we say? Just 1 second here. 5? No, that's probably not right. I'm just gonna
5 seconds.
38 hours.
Close. 31,000 years. Okay. 1 trillion seconds is 31,000 years. So if we traveled for 31,000 years at that mile per second, whatever that is, we'd have to do that 24 more times to get to the closest star. And then the next star is magnitudes farther. But if Elon lent us a rocket that goes 100,000 miles an hour, can't even fathom that speed. It would only take us 28,000 years to get there. Do you see what happens when we talk about these numbers? Minds just shut down. People don't have the ability to comprehend large numbers.
No,
Right?
I can't either. They
Yeah.
I'm like what do they say? My mind can handle one number at a time, and then once
Yeah.
you throw five or six at me, I'm like a train.
Yeah. So do you know anything about cryptocurrency?
Not much, no.
Where is
All
the
right. Well, so
curvature?
cryptocurrency, I'll just,
Where?
for those of you that know and those of you
No
that don't know,
curvature.
you have things called wallets and private keys, and your private key is a string of numbers, numbers and letters mixed together, and I forget how it's like 50 or I forget the number of digits, but they're just random. If somebody figured out your private key, they could steal all your money. All they need is the number, right? So if you got all the supercomputers in the world going through every possible combination of that many random numbers and letters mixed together, it would take something like 66 sextillion years, which is a number you can't comprehend, before they would find one active wallet. That's called the law of large numbers, right? So cosmology does the same thing. Like, oh, these things are so far away that your mind just shuts down and you don't actually think about it. But cosmology is literally Narnia. None of it makes any sense when you actually held its feet to the fire. So here's the thing. People normally just shove this off, or they Google flat Earth, top 10 reasons the Earth is flat, and Google will feed you top 10 reasons the Earth is a globe. That should raise an eyebrow. That should make you wonder, like, what is going on? Why are they not giving me what I'm asking for? Because they're trying to hide it, and we're going to get into why. But once you see that the Earth is intelligently designed, flat, and intelligently designed means, flat means it's intelligently designed because you can't have a Big Bang. Then everything changes. And that's what the ruling elite don't want. They don't want you in a situation where you can't deny intelligent creation.
Okay, I'm just kind of processing all that. Uh, okay, that's really neat.
Yeah. So just for those of you that are like, you got your hand on the mouse ready to click away, on my website, flatearthdave.com. Right. I created an app that bypasses all the censorship. Love you to get the app. It's $3 one-time charge. But if you don't want to get the app, if you're like, I'm not sure about this, this is crazy, scroll down to where you see a picture of me. It says Flat Earth Dave and it says Crash Course. Click the Crash Course button, and there's a list of videos there that Google is hiding from you. They're all on YouTube, but Google's hiding them for you. You'll never find them. And I say, watch the first three. Just the first three. It is scientifically impossible to watch the first three and remain a glober.
It just changes your whole perspective on everything.
Well, it points to things that you were never shown. Like there can be hidden doors all over the place. Unless you see them, you don't know that there's other options, right? Well, boats over the horizon, seasons, sunsets. I can go up in the Khalifi Tower right after sunset and watch the sunset a second time. You don't understand that these things work perfectly on a flat Earth. Seasons don't work at all on a globe, but we believe that seasons prove the globe. So again, there's so much information. Here's the thing. My favorite podcast is called Crow 777 Radios with 2 R's in Crow. And he has a saying called belief is the enemy of knowing, right? So you believe a lot of things, but you don't know it. Like I'm in Mexico right now. Okay. So in 5 minutes from now, I said, where am I? If you had a good memory, you'd say you're in Mexico. Do you believe it or do you know it?
I believe it because I mean, why would you lie about it?
So there you go. So that's how we have our conscious mind and our subconscious memory. Our conscious mind screens everything. You heard me say I'm in Mexico. It sounded pretty confident. I hear waves in the background, maybe, and you stored that as a true thought, and you felt no need to go verify it, right? So
right. I'm not going to be like Google Maps you, like where are you right now?
Yeah. So that's how we have to live our life. Because if you have to verify everything, you're never going to have time to do anything, right? Did you know that I was the 27th president of the United States? So in 5 minutes from now, if I said, what did I say, or was I ever the president? You'd be able to recall that statement, and it was stored as false. right?
100% false.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, but you've concluded. You have no need to ask me any further. You're like, I don't even need to clarify. This is a false statement, and you stored it as false. This is how our minds work, right?
Exactly. I'll try one on you. Me and Justin Trudeau actually met once, and we're pretty good friends.
I would have more questions about that, and I would actually judge. I would actually judge you for being good friends with him. But I would store that as it's possible, but I'm not sure. I doubt it. You know?
No, I don't. I'm not. No, I never met him. I don't plan on it.
Yeah. So that's how our minds work. So you're taught things before you have the ability to think, right? You're taught, you go to kindergarten, there's a globe in the front of the class. They show you the guys that go to the North Pole and freeze their fingers off and have to eat their dogs because they're running out of food, and they make you never want to go to the North Pole or the South Pole, right? And and these are things that keep you lost on the ball, right? If you live on their ball field, you have to play by their ball field rules, right? But we don't live on a ball field. We live on a level, non-rotating plane. We're at the center of creation, and we have incredible powers, incredible resources, and they want you to believe that we're running out of resources, that we're overpopulated. You ever fly across the United States? There's nothing. It's empty. There's nothing there. There's nothing. Okay? Let's just look body of water. There's nothing. It's just empty. All right. So they want you to believe in shortages and lack. They want you to believe that we're at the pinnacle of civilization right now, the best we've ever been. But if you look at all the old world buildings, stuff before they had power tools, allegedly, and, people with hammers and chisels and, donkeys and carts built these buildings and architecture that we couldn't even build today. They don't want you to know about the old world that was here just a couple hundred years ago of advanced civilization worldwide, way more advanced than we are now. And then something happened and there was some sort of reset. And here we are living in what I call the post-apocalyptic world with no memory of our past.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm even kind of just thinking about the whole globe model. Is there any type of even you were just giving me some ideas of is your floor flat? Like you were kind of giving me those examples to go by. What's one that you could recommend to people as maybe like a at home experiment for those for those who don't believe in flat Earth and are more onto the globe model? What's a compelling argument or some sort of at home experiment that they can try to sway them in the other direction?
Sure. So first you have to understand what the curvature formula of the globe is. So they tell us the globe is 24,901 miles around at the equator. So there would be a rate of curvature. Like if you drew a line straight out from underneath your feet, the farther out it goes, the lower the earth would drop below it, right? If you draw a straight line tangent with your feet, horizontal to your standing position, the farther out it goes, the faster it's dropping more and more. And that formula is based off of the Pythagorean theorem. Remember a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and you could figure out what the drop would be. And it's 8 inches per mile squared. So at 1 mile, there's an 8-inch drop. At 2 miles, 2 times 2 is 4 times 8 is 32 inches. At 3 miles, it's 6 feet. At 10 miles, it's 66 feet. At 100 miles, it's 6,600 feet of curvature. So you can go and get a super zoom camera, set it up at the water's edge as low as you can on a clear, calm day, and you can zoom in on things that should be hidden by the curve. You can zoom in on things that should be long below the curve, hundreds of feet, thousands of feet, depending on where you're doing it, and even miles. There's some shots from tops of mountains where we could see the Alps over 700 miles away. At 700 miles away, there's over 50 miles of curvature. When I say curvature, hold a basketball in front of your face and put like a little marble or a little toy boat on the top of it and then sail that boat to the other side. You can't see it because it's behind curvature, right? But we can see things that should be long hidden behind there, right? Now, you can do these experiments yourself. You can go out and buy, what's funny? Nikon came out with the P1000 125 times zoom camera. and we call it the globe killer because we can zoom in on things that are impossible to see. And guess what? NASA, I don't know if your take is on NASA. NASA is the reason NASA was created is to hide the flat Earth. Um, and they're a completely deceptive agency, but they literally bought out Nikon and did a contract with them to stop making that camera.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they stopped them from making that camera, and so it's very 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 interesting. But that's one thing you do. I created an app. It's called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, right? And it's a $3 app. There are some social media interactions on there where you can create a social media account on there. You can interact with other people. You can do video calls. You can you can create meetups, and there's a matchmaker to find like-minded people. That requires a subscription. It's $11 a year, okay, which is nothing. You ever buy someone a margarita? But for just the $3 app, it gives you all of the resources. I have a frequently asked questions page, and one of them that you'd be interested in is boats over the horizon, or we can see too far, or where does the sun go, right? Or why the lie? And all these videos, again, are being hidden from you on Google Earth. So why should you spend $3 on my app? Because it will change your life forever. And also, if you think I'm stupid, if you think flat Earth is the dumbest thing ever, I offer 3 Bitcoins. Now, Bitcoin is at 108,000. Well, no, I think it's around $100,000 right now. So that's $300,000. 3 Bitcoins for 1 globe proof. But so you don't waste my time, you have to get the app. And then there's a daily video. Every day there's hey, watch this video. Short videos during the week, longer ones on the weekend. And I say, just watch it every day while you're having your coffee or tea for 200. I mean, not 200, for 2 weeks. And at the end of that 2 weeks, if you think the Earth is a globe, send me your proof. Before you do, check the FAQ page and make sure it wasn't answered there. And let me tell you what happens. Don't take the challenge if you don't want to be a flat earther, because you will. If you the best way to become a flat earther is to try to debunk it with real information, not Google fed nonsense.
Yeah, those are because that was for the longest time. That was all I went by. Well, that's all I go by for a lot of things, because even people will do that for medical things. They're sick. They Google their symptoms, and then all of a sudden they have a medical degree.
Yeah.
So really, that's because for some people, that's the only outlet they have to gather information, to learn about stuff, to learn about politics.
Don't get me wrong, though. Google will, you can learn lots on the internet. Having the internet is way more amazing than, pre-internet. I mean, you could look up stuff quickly, and then, you gotta trust and verify, though, because Google, doesn't feed you truthful information on the shape of the Earth. It doesn't feed you truthful information on cures for diseases. That's all we'll say here. It doesn't feed you a lot of truthful information. It hides it, but there are ways to find it. So that's why I created the app, because it bypasses the Google censorship, and it's quite amazing. But again, on my website, tons of free information. All right. Check it out. Turn off Netflix. Watch the first 3 or 10 videos in the crash course. And then you just might want to have the app, because it's in your pocket all the time. When you're talking to somebody, you'll be able to pull up anything you want. There's image searching, there's video searching, all censorship free. And it's kind of it's life-changing. It certainly is life-changing.
That's so cool. That's really, really cool. Do you ever butt heads with people in a way where if they don't believe in flat Earth, is there ever any tension, or is it one of those things where it's okay, it's your opinion,
Yeah, well, no, there's what we have different types of people out there. You have your it's highly indoctrinated people, and the worst are teachers. Don't get me wrong, teachers have great hearts, but how do you become a teacher? How do you become a science teacher, a social studies teacher, a history teacher? You memorize what's in the Rockefeller textbook, and then you write it down on a test, and then you get a degree in memorization and regurgitation. It's not education. It's literally memorization and regurgitation. That's how you climb the levels in the teaching profession. And if you question things, you're not going to get an A. You're not going to get published. All of these things happen. So you have people that just want to believe they got straight A's and that they won't. They're like, well, the book says this, the book says that. You can write a book on anything. Then you have there's other people that know, but for some reason, whatever's motivating them, whether it's money or who knows, demonic forces, who knows, they're out there trying to obfuscate the truth about the realm that we live in. I mean, go outside and use your common God given senses and look at the sun, look at the moon, forget everything you were told and sold. It's right there. It's right in our sky. It's in our enclosed world. What happens when you open a soda can? What's it doing? It's equalizing instantly and violently, right?
Yeah.
So how do we live on a lumpy rock surrounded by curved water that never shows convexity when it's at rest? We can see with lasers dozens of miles, right? And there's no curvature, right? And then that's surrounded by high pressure air, which is adjacent to a void of no pressure called the space vacuum, right? So how come the air doesn't violently shoot off into space? Because air violently fills the available space. And the only answer that is given is gravity. Gravity's holding the air down. Okay. Well, gravity is so supposedly stronger next to Earth than it is up hundreds of thousands of feet. Okay. So how can I take a straw and pull air up and away from the ground, from down below my mouth, or water up and away from the earth with a very, 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 very weak low pressure system of my mouth and lungs? When the vacuum of space can't pull the air away? These are things that you've never thought about. And when you do, two things are going to happen. One of two things is going to happen. One, you're just going to be like, it can't be true. There's something wrong with it. I need to make up an excuse. Or two, your God-given common sense is going to kick in and go, I was taught a bunch of nonsense. Narnia nonsense. That's what cosmology is. Here's something funny. I took 4 years of astronomy in college, right, just as an elective, because I was awesome at it. I was so good at it. I was the star in the class.
And you clearly liked it too.
And I liked it, right? But the first year is when Cosmos came out with Carl Sagan. And I was watching that. It was on once a week. And I go to my astronomy class, and the teacher's like, hey, we're going to go from chapter 1 to chapter 18. We're going to jump to... And he was following the show. He was like literally watching it and then teaching from the show and going to the appropriate chapter in the book. So I knew all the answers. And that's where I just fell in love with it. I was so good at it and I believed it. But now when I look at it, it's all pseudoscience. It's all nonsense. I used to laugh at astrology. Astrology is the real science. Astronomy is complete and total nonsense.
And science is science too, in a way, really.
Well, science is a word. What is science? It's the scientific method. You have to have a naturally occurring dependent variable, an independent variable. You have to be able to observe it, repeat it, and do an actual scientific experiment, right? That scientific method is never, ever, ever used in astronomy. It's all assumption and nonsense. Michio Kaku said in the world of theoretical physics that they're off by a power of 10 to the 120th power. Okay. That's a number that is you can't fathom it. You can't fathom 30 digits, let alone 120, right? It's too big of a number, right? And that's how far they're off. They say, in science, if you're off by a factor of 2 or 10, it's horrible. Well, astrophysics is off by 10 to 120th power, according to their top guy.
Right.
Crazy. It's such a big number that you just dismiss it as like, well, something's wrong with that statement.
Yeah, clearly. And then just don't even think about it,
Yeah, don't think about it, because as I was saying before, I forgot to finish my thought. Belief is the enemy of knowing, right? Because belief is easy, takes no effort. Knowing takes time and effort. You want to believe in Mexico, you got to go research it. You got to look. Oh, here's a picture on Facebook. Look, that water's kind of blue, and you grab the metadata off of it or whatever. And then I guess he is in Mexico. Right. So, belief takes no effort. You believe and then take a nap. Doesn't matter. Go drink a beer. Doesn't matter. Knowing takes time and effort. So you can believe you live on a globe, not know anything about it, think you know everything about it, think that you know everything about flat Earth, or you can know that you know nothing about the globe and you know nothing about flat Earth. And once you find out, knowing, it literally changes your life. Everything. It changes everything.
Right, right. It's one of those things you think you know until you're tasked with it. You see someone building something or fixing a tap or a sink or something like that, and you go, "Oh, it's fine. I could probably fix it." And then once you go to do it, you're like, "Oh shit, I actually don't know." You know what I mean?
Correct.
Yeah, that's
Correct.
exactly it. How do you deal, with like mainstream scientists, or maybe just like the public in general, who might think differently and stuff,
Back in
especially
2014,
mainstream scientists?
yeah, in 2014, when I first started this, everyone just, oh my God, flat Earth, you're so stupid. Now people are like, this is interesting. Let's talk about it. The mainstream scientists won't talk to us because they can't. Because if they do, their entire life crumbles. So their inner conscious being says, don't talk to them, don't do it, don't do it. They won't. A couple of them have, and they get destroyed when they come on on the debate shows, right? I'm not a big fan of the debate shows because there's people there that are just going to hold on to their position no matter what. They won't learn anything. I'm into having conversations like this with you, where I'm going to make you think and I'm going to give you the resources to go prove it yourself. Don't believe anything I tell you. Don't believe any of the trolls that show up in the comment section. Don't believe anybody. Verify, trust nobody, verify all things.
Exactly, because I'm no science guy, and people might hear some of my answers and go, "Oh, geez, well, this guy's stupid." Well, I'm not a scientist. I don't study this stuff. You know what I mean? So that's why I love
But
having people like
yeah,
you on who are able to educate me on that. You know?
well, don't, here's the other thing. Don't short sell yourself. You have common sense, right? When you go outside on a calm morning. Where do you live, in the suburbs, or where are you?
Suburbs, yeah.
Yeah. So go out on a calm morning, really calm morning, and go out there and go sit up in your yard, sit and close your eyes and ask yourself, is the world's, if you're facing the sunrise, am I falling forward towards the sun faster than the speed of sound? Right? Because the earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. And my orbiting the sun at 66,600 miles per hour, speeding up and slowing down, averaging that speed? Am I chasing the sun at an additional 500,000 miles an hour in a third direction? Right? And if
Stuff that you wouldn't think about. I wouldn't
yeah,
think about that, but
yeah, but that's what you have to believe. And then the entire solar system is moving sideways at 2.5 million miles per hour. Okay. In a fourth direction. Right. But meanwhile, if you go out and take a picture of the stars tonight at 10 p.m., next year at the same time, same night, or in 10 years, same time, same night, take the same picture, every single star will be in the exact same location, even though we move 4.5 billion miles a year, never to return to where we were before because we're chasing the sun through the galaxy. All the other stars are moving in all their directions, but no two stars have ever crossed each other's path due to parallax. Right. So these are things that you don't think about. Right. So now shake that off, close your eyes and say, is the earth completely stationary on a solid foundation? Is it never not moving? Is the stars and the sun and the moon circling above my head just as they appear? Right. Let me ask you a question. In the heliocentric globe model, what are we orbiting around?
um,
The sun.
the sun.
Right. What are the other
I knew
planets?
that. No,
Yeah, I know, but people don't think about it so much that you actually have to think about it. What are all
Hmm.
the other planets orbiting around?
Jupiter,
Jupiter's orbiting what? The sun. Everyone,
Sun,
they're all the planets go around the sun, right?
right?
That
Mars,
that,
Venus,
that
Earth.
yeah. So Venus is the closest, and Mars or Venus. Forgetting all the planets now, but
Mercury.
Mercury, Venus, Mercury, Earth, Mars, Saturn, Pluto, right? All the way out to, all the way out. So they're all orbiting the sun. Now, why is our North Star special? Do you know?
No, I don't know.
Why doesn't it appear to move according to the heliocentric model? Do you know? It's okay if you don't.
Uh, yeah, no, I don't.
So because the earth, they tell us the earth is a globe and it's spinning on an axis. And if you extended the axis from, the South Pole through the North Pole out into space, it points right at Polaris. And so when we spin, all the other stars appear to be spinning around Polaris because Polaris is lined up with our axis of rotation. Does that make sense?
Right. Okay. I'm just kind of
So if
envisioning
you
it.
if you had a basketball
Mhm.
and you had a whole bunch of Christmas lights, a whole array of lights on the ceiling, right? And the basketball, you spin the basketball, but you have a pole coming out of where it's spinning. That pole points up to one light, and so no matter where you are on that basketball, you're going to be spinning, and that one light is going to stay in the same spot. All the other lights are going to make circles around it because you're spinning.
Right.
So here, it's hard to explain these things, but that's the official story of our solar system. So if Mars had a North Star, well, it wouldn't be the same North Star. It would be whatever their axis of rotation is pointing at. And if Jupiter had a North Star, if it's rotating, it has a North Star, it would just be different. So our North Star is only special to us, is the point I'm making.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, yeah. So the funny thing is, all of the other planets, the sun, the moon, asteroids, Halley's Comet, they all circle Polaris in beautiful sacred geometry, spirographic shapes. They all go around Polaris. Hard for you to wrap your mind around that. I encourage people
Where is the
on my
curvature?
website, flatearthdave.com.
Where?
You'll see all my
No
YouTube and
curvature.
social media channels. Check out my X, Flat Earth Dave X, and check out Flat Earth Dave Interviews 2, Flat Earth Dave Interviews 2 channel. I have lots of interviews like this where I show graphics and stuff and I talk about this and I show it. And it'll really help it sink in. But here's the thing. If you don't want to take the time and effort, you shouldn't even be listening to the show anymore because this show is introducing you to something that will change your life forever. But it's up to you to take those steps. Right? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. You can lead a man to knowledge, but you can't make him think.
That's good. I like that. I don't think I've ever heard of that statement. Well, I heard of the horse one, but that knowledge one, I never heard of that one before.
Yeah,
That's
well, it's a fact, Jack.
It's so good. Wow, it's a lot of information to take in too. Well, I mean, especially as someone like me, I mean, not that I didn't, pay attention to this stuff.
Stop downplaying yourself. The less you pay attention in school, the smarter you are. Okay.
Yes, that's true.
The less education you have, the more your mind hasn't been indoctrinated and trained to believe in Rockefeller funded nonsense. Let me ask you a question. When we hang up this thing, let's say you have a couple hours tonight to go research stuff. Where are you going to look?
I will look on your app, right?
Well, what if you don't have my app? Where would you go look?
Maybe I'll stay away from Google.
My website.
Your website, flatearth.com.
No,
what is it again?
flatearthdave.com.
Flatearthdave.com. Well, come on.
Flatearthdave.com. Yeah.
For a second, I'm like, is this a trick question? I'm not going to say Google.
Here's the thing. It's the reason I push my website is because I have lots of stuff on there. This is Flat Earth 101. There's advanced stuff on my app. There's a homeschool section. There's great stuff in there. More advanced stuff. There's the old world section. Check that out. Right. If anyone that gets the app, there's people just I have these very informational pop-ups when you first set it up, and one of them says long press any button to see what it does, and people just exit out. They just like get rid of the pop-up, get rid of the pop-up. It's just a one-time pop-up. Long press, because people are like, I don't know what this button does. Just hold your finger on the button and it'll tell you what it does, because there's a lot of buttons on the app because it does so much. And I encourage people, check it out. Don't believe anything I say. If you think this is dumb, come collect your Bitcoins, 3 of them. And you'll see it makes all the difference in the world.
It really does. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a lot to take in for sure. So yeah, flatearthdave.com, guys. Make sure you go check that out. And then also, of course, the Flat Earth podcast as well, too, which you're still doing, correct?
Yep, it's on. Well, we do them there because I do so many interviews that we're slow on the interviews on the episodes, but if you haven't heard them, start from the beginning. They're all on my website, on the bottom of the website. There you can find them all in one place. The only thing you have to remember for everything I've talked about is flatearthdave.com. Right?
Yeah. Flatearthdave.com.
You'll find my socials there. You'll find the app there. You'll find, I'm going to actually be speaking in Anarchapulco. If you want to get away from the cold, on February 16th through the 21st, there's a conference called Anarchapulco in Acapulco, Mexico. And you can watch virtually also. And I've got a killer presentation. It's going to be amazing.
Ooh, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So yeah, guys, definitely be sure to go on that. Dave, thank you so much for all the insight too. Just everything that you've been teaching me today too. A little deja vu. Feels like sixth grade science class again too. It's nice. But thank you for taking the time to come on today, and just congratulations on all your success and everything.
Frankie, just check it out. Just remember, don't believe the trolls. When you're over the target, you get the most flack. There's so much flack out there. Don't believe anything anyone says. Verify everything. And I'm telling you, go to my website, watch the crash course videos. The first three, they're actually really good videos. You'll really like them, right? And most people that start the crash course, they end up going through all. I think there's like 40 or 50 videos. They end up watching them all, and they love them because it's great and it's all free too. So there you go.
Right. Perfect. Perfect. So thank you for that, Dave. Guys, we are going to take a short break. We will be right back. But until then, this is Frankie and Flat Earth Dave, or David Weiss, signing off. Thanks, David.
Thanks, man. See ya. Hey, everyone. If you enjoyed this interview, please help support my work and help wake up others by referring or gifting the app to at least one person today. By doing that, you're going to help wake people up and help me to continue doing other interviews like this. With the censorship out there that's going on, it's very difficult to find relevant information. And the app, as you know, brings people to the truthful information of our world. So help support my work, help support your efforts in waking up friends, family, and strangers. Gift them the app or just recommend the app. And let's make 2025 the year Flat Earth breaks free. Check the links below for information on how to gift the app or just refer the app to others, and use your referral code to earn Dome cryptocurrency and a free subscription. Thanks.